Can you guys tell me your first memories with the original film?
Easy.
I mean, that's pretty easy.
Of course, the dance. It's like so iconic. I was so young. I was 5 years old.
I don't think you should have been watching it at 5.
I was not.
Where's your mother?
But I had an older brother. Of course, I had an older brother.
That's so early with these type of movies.
Of course. No, literally, I had an older brother. He's 12 years older than me, so of course, I was really young, and he was super excited watching this movie, and sexy Salma Hayek back then. It was awesome.
It was the first time, I mean, I was very young when I saw it too, but around that time, like when Robert's film career was really kind of exploding and Quentin's as well, it was just, I'd never seen characters talk to each other like that and stay in one place and just go from these insane monologues to explosive action, you know, and it was just mesmerizing, so yeah, I loved it.
There's a lot of gore and just like over-the-top behavior here, so it makes me wonder, when you go into audition, what does he make you do?
It's the opposite. I mean,
punch the casting director in the face first.
Yeah.
Just kind of get it out of the way.
That is kind of appropriate.
Yeah, no, I didn't
He measures it.
Actually,
Oh, you
it's
got
a
a
baby
good
back,
punch.
but
No, truthfully, you only do the cool stuff. You do. I mean, we did a scene together that ends up being in the feature. It's mostly just the the banter that we have between each other, and then finding that sort of
It was kind of a window into the process there, though, because Robert does everything from instinct, from the gut, and he moves quick. You know, casting, shooting, editing, everything. And the casting process was very similar. You know, I just met with him, not even in a casting office, in a hotel room, conversation, played with the words a little bit, and then it felt like a couple weeks later we were all here.
A lot of times, too, what happens is that they don't, he doesn't really release his secret scripts. You know, you never really have access to his scripts.
Yeah.
And there's a reason for it that is mysterious to everyone except for us. But my point is that he'll write sometimes just scenes of things that he'll probably just want to see the actor do, maybe, that sometimes are not even in the script. And that's a very unique way of just kind of saying, okay, well, you know, I'm not releasing scenes from my show, I'm not releasing scenes from my movie, you know, I'm gonna write a scene that I just think would make sense for the characters in Genesis, you know.
Is there any scene in that respect that you guys got that you wish could have been in the show, or you hope to show everyone at some point?
I think it ends up, for me specifically, and for our stuff, I think the scenes that we did are in the show.
Yeah, they're all there.
All that we had to go off of really was the couple of scenes that we had. I didn't get a script until I actually was cast, and I, just had to go from that, and then hopefully, we know the movie and try not to do too much of the movie and bring your own sort of feel to it and see what happens.
Yeah, it's great because we're obviously very familiar with the characters in the film, but there's so much material and so many ideas that Robert and Quentin batted around all those years back that have just kind of percolated and simmered and have found their way. Actually, some actual pages too
Are in the show.
Are in the show. So
we actually got to see the original.
Oh yeah, last night.
Script, the original shooting script from the feature last night, and some of the stuff that didn't make it into the movie is going to make its way onto the screen via our show. So
how is it taking it from that movie to this show? And because people want to watch the show because they love the movie and they want to see more of that. At the same time, you have to make it your own. Is it hard to kind of separate the two?
I don't know. I've seen the first episode, and I think it becomes its own thing after the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, and again, there's just so much material. I mean, obviously, when you first see it, you see all these iconic things. You see the brothers in the suits. You see Benny's. You see Chango beer everywhere. You see Big Kahuna Burger. You see all these moments that you recognize from the film. But there's so much backstory and new material and new characters and relationships interwoven that it becomes its own thing very, very quickly, and you just get lost in what you're watching.
At the same time, I look at the two of you in this show, and I see George Clooney and Quentin Tarantino just look-wise, and you even sound like them a little. Like if I closed my eyes, I could kind of picture them back in these roles again.
I can show you my wallet, and I guarantee you it's not going to look the same.
Have you spoken to them at all about these roles?
No, I'm going to hide and try not to get blacklisted.
I called George personally for DJ, and he gave his blessing, but DJ still has.
It's daunting, obviously, because these are two of the most iconic, actors and directors in both respects. And, it could be very scary, but the thing that I think empowers all of us is we're not showing up to a set with some other guy's version of Robert and Quentin's characters. We're all going to work every day with Robert, you know, and Robert's the one that is casting us from his gut and letting us do our own version.
Yeah, and
so
if it works for you, and if you saw that and you thought that you were watching the Gecko Brothers, that's really more Robert seeing it and instinctually grabbing us and saying, yeah, this guy and this guy, they're going to work together, than me or DJ really trying to consciously trying to play that or play that. It's Robert's taste and it's Robert's vision, you know.
Yeah.
And you guys are also working with a number of really talented directors with some unique styles, but is there anything going from director to director that has to stay the same?
I mean, the obvious things like, you know, there's an overarching storyline for all the characters and everything we're doing, but the crazy thing is Robert is everywhere.
The whole
he's
thing.
100%. I mean, he's editing all the footage. He's doing the Photoshop on a lot of the images you see. He invented a technology where when he's not physically on set, he has sound and camera wired to every screen he has in his car, on his iPhone, in his house. So you'll be in the middle of a scene, like Zane and I will be in the middle of the scene and Robert's not
Get
there.
a text.
And we're looking at each other off camera. We don't think anyone can hear us. And we're like, did that feel weird? That felt a little weird, right?
Yeah.
I don't know, let's try it again. And then you'll
Boop,
feel your
text.
phone go ding.
No, it's great.
You pull it up and
Yeah.
Robert's like, yeah, that was great. Gotta say thing again. All right, thanks God. And
It does
go
make
back
you
to
really
work.
comfortable that he's always watching you.
Yeah, you do. You feel
Actually,
safe.
you do feel comfortable. Actually, I think that, you know, the dilemma is that you be a little intimidated, but you actually have this level of comfort zone that you know that instinctually, if you weren't doing something and you know, aligned with what we were with the big picture, that we would have, you know, some type of notion or you know, collaboration from Robert, even if he wasn't on set. And that's something that's very rare. I mean, no television series that I have ever worked on or been a part of, you know, has that level of consistency to, you know, it's not only its creator, but, you know, it's visionary. You know, the guy who just says, you know, this definitely will be a story that can go a number of seasons and still be satisfying.
And are you guys thinking that at all? When you signed your contracts, are there rules that you need to be ready to go if they say season 2 is going to get
there always
started?
is. But I mean, listen, I have TV PTSD. I've had a lot of interesting in and out of, you know, television jobs and pilots and failures and things half measured that don't really come to fruition. But this job is absolutely incredible. There's no filter between the creative process and you know, what we present. It's just Robert and it's just us, and we all really truly feel like it's a collaborative effort. So 1 year, 12 years, I'm very, very happy here, and I hope we get to continue a long time.